we want. Great Nigeria. Giants of Africa. Nigeria we want. Great Nigeria. The Nigeria we want. With Vicky O Show. Yeah, me show the moon. Wale Olaito. Every say what shuku. The Nigeria we want. Great Nigeria. On Vicky O Show. Every Saturday. The Nigeria we want. Great Nigeria. Giants of Africa. Nigeria we want. Great Nigeria.
Hi, everybody. Good evening. Good evening. Welcome to the Nigeria We Want on Vicky O Show. We want to welcome you and our guest panelist, Mrs. Remi, Akinmade, and our resident panelist for today's show. It's going to be another great topic. But before we bring our guest panelists and other panelists onto the show, I would like to first of all appreciate Tolu Felicity. Tolu Felicity actually put the jingle together. She composed and recorded the jingle for the Nigeria We Want. We appreciate you, Tolu. Thank you so much for showing us your brilliance and adding value to what we do on the Nigeria We Want. If we have an award, the award will actually go to the best and the most loyal viewer of the global, of the Nigeria We Want. That award will actually go to Tolu Felicity. She's been consistent from the day one that she started with us, watching us. And she just decided to put together, compose what you've just listened to. She composed it, she recorded it, and here we have. It is a jingle specially made for us by Tolu Felicity. We appreciate you, Tolu, wherever you are. Thank you. Now, I would like you to welcome our panelist onto the show. Mr. Yemi Shodimo, you are welcome.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Vicky. Thank you for having me.
Yeah,
and
good to have you back. And Wale Olaito, welcome.
Thank you. It's good to be back. And
our honorable moderator, you are welcome.
Thank you very much, Dr. Vicky. And my dearest Egbon, it's good to see you again. Welcome back.
It's great to see you, Wale, and great to see Dr. Vicky, the woman that is permanently on honeymoon.
Thank you. Just try to be like you now. And Mr. Heavis Nwachukwu, Igbo Kwenu.
Hey, thank you. I'm well, thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome, everyone. Welcome, Wale Ebon. Long time no see you. And good evening, viewers. Yeah, glad to be
Thanks,
back.
Elvis.
Nice to see you, Elvis.
Welcome back, bro. Yeah.
And lastly, our guest panelist. Why do I keep on saying panelist? Panelist.
I'm sure it has something to do with that 45-minute drive.
Probably. Mrs. Remi Akinmade, you are welcome to the Nigeria We Want. Thank you for joining us today. Hello. Oh. Hello, can you hear us, Mrs. Remi? Wale, do you want to send a private message, please? I don't think she can hear us.
Thank you so much for having me. God bless you all.
Oh, and you too, You are welcome. So As usual, what we do the first few minutes of the show is to talk about what's been trending.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now. We can hear you. So, Remi, let's start with you. What's been trending for you? We know Nigeria, there's always one thing after the other. So there's been so many things that happened within the last 1 week. So what is trending for you?
The song on my head right now is Why New?
because you've been missing in action for a few weeks, so
I have to serve the punishment. No problem.
Yes.
You know, we are living in one very big theater. It's a huge theater where the good, the bad, and the ugly take place. But we thank God, we're still one nation under the umbrella of God. And we are praying and hoping that we will remain that and get bigger and get stronger. But in addition, also get our sanity back, because I think we have a bit of issue with that, but that's the honest truth. What's been happening? 1,001 things, but what comes readily to mind is the Air Force plane that was shot down by terrorists. Some prefer to call them bandits. But of course, we thank God for the life of the pilot, who probably the story would have been completely different. Because apart from the fact that Dairo, that's the name of the pilot, apart from the fact that he was shot down, if he had been caught and they actually wanted to catch him alive, they probably would have been in a position to make some horrible demands that you can't imagine. But in spite of his pains, in spite of his injuries, in spite of the shock, in spite of all, the Air Force man, Dairo, managed to escape, and luckily he was picked up by friendly forces. So that, of course, has happened. It is rather unfortunate, but that's the level that we are. I must also say that killings in villages hasn't stopped. It hasn't stopped. They go to some remote villages, and I think they are probably getting nearer the urban areas, because some villages, I think around Kuje, near Abuja, were attacked recently. But the attackers were repelled, I think successfully, by our military men, which of course brings me to giving kudos to our men out there fighting day and night to keep us safe, to keep this nation at one. It's a lot of battle that they are facing. It's a lot of challenges they are facing. And that, of course, includes information management. Because there is no doubt about it that there are leakages here and there. How this is happening, I don't know. I'm just a bloody civilian. So we just keep praying for them, and we keep hoping that we will keep equipping them better and keep treating them right. Outside that, food prices are still up. Food prices are up. Luckily, we have a female who is our guest panelist today. She might just be able to say one or two things about that. But I know that women go to the market and they come back frowning this day. How that has happened, I don't know. Unfortunately. A lot of other things. The Olympics have started. We have representation there. We are looking forward to some great news from them, and hoping also that they make less use of the cardboard beds that have been provided. I won't say more than that.
All right,
now.
thank you. Thank you, Egbon. Thank you, Egbon. And I will go next. I'll just share one. And it's all about this young lady in Uniben who, she just finished exams. So she got a shirt that she wrote on it. Her name is Peace Ifoma. Aggressive malpractice brought me here this far. That was what she wrote. How when you finish your last exam, you write something on your t-shirt and you get friends to write on it. So she wrote, aggressive malpractice brought me here this far. And that got the attention of the Uniben deciding, team or whatever you want to call it. And they've ordered her to rewrite her exams from year 2. So she was supposed to be graduating. Now she's been sent back to year 2. I read that and I'm like, yes, apart from what she wrote, was there any other, did they do any investigation to find out that she actually practiced, she did anything wrong apart from what she wrote on her shirt, for them to have made that kind of decision? That just says a lot about Nigeria, and that's just what I would like to share.
Vicky,
yes.
Vicky, would you mind the reaction to that?
Yes, of course.
Yeah. I checked the word daft in the dictionary, and it didn't come out well. The lady in question, I'll tell you without any hesitation, is daft with capital letters. Because listen, as a graduate of an institution, you are an ambassador of that institution.
Definitely.
So if she was that daft to have gone on the social media to portray not just herself as being intransigent, to portray not just herself as not being worthy of a certificate, even if she never practiced what she did, she shouldn't have done what she did. The university, the institution, maybe some of us don't know. The certificate being presented by the institutions are not really us. They belong to the university. What they are giving you is something that says you have passed through us, and we certify that you are worthy of that. It can be withdrawn if at any point in time there is something questionable about it. She gave room for it. And I will tell you, I will not expect, and this is where I'm on the same page with you. I will not expect the university to act based on that alone. But if she gave them the reason to go and take a second look at what she did, and I'll tell you, you can't fault them at that point. She gave that reason. Unfortunately, another guy went on the social media and did something similar shortly after hers. Right? And I think it is a message, it's a strong message that has to be sent to our young ones. The degree of irresponsibility, there has to be a line to it. So within the time she posted that thing, and the time the university took that decision, she probably gave them the chance to take a look. Our papers are still with the university anyway. They don't mark your papers and give them to you. So she asked for it. That's what comes to my mind. She asked for it.
She was being stupid, and we talked about social media and the way young people are using it these days, and just messing up and stuff like that. We've talked about that on the show a few weeks ago. But my question is, you know, I haven't read it anywhere whereby they've done any investigation. Yes, she did the wrong thing. She misrepresented the university, but have they found out that she actually practiced more? Did she do any of those things? Yeah, I haven't read it anywhere. So Wale, Elvis, and Mrs. Remi, do you have anything to add to that?
Oh well, look, at the end of the day, honestly, yes, Remi has said, yeah, she brought it upon herself. But can we also look at a scenario where, you know, she could have written that on her t-shirt just for jokes or for laughs? I know students write all sorts when they want to graduate. My boys, when they finished their secondary school here, they had all sorts written on their, you know, their senior student jacket, which is the norm. People do this all the time. That she had written that on her shirt, I mean, is not 100% that she actually indulged in malpractices. I don't know. So I don't know to which extent they had investigated her or what they had done to warrant asking her to go as far back as year 2 to start writing her exams all over again. So I don't know. I don't know what's happened in between, but we shouldn't take it for granted that it's possible that, you know, that could have been written for jokes, for laughs.
Thanks, Elvis.
Someone else saying something, but I just want to quickly say it.
Yes, Egbo.
Vicky, if you don't mind, if I just want to state a scenario, you have a T-shirt, you write, "I just shot a policeman," for jokes. I just shot a policeman for jokes. And then you go on social media and put that. Maybe in America it will be permissible. There are cultures within societies. If you do that here, I'll tell you, you could be questioned. You will have some certain things to explain. You will not be the one to say, no, so that was just a joke and all that. But you would have gone through a process. If we ask the girl, you never can say. They could have invited her. They could have invited her, but I think it is important for our young ones to get that message. I told you somebody did the same thing a few days later. That is like setting a trend. And everybody thinks you can just walk through institutions without doing any hard work. You cheated through, blah, 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 and that's something for you to celebrate? No. I don't think she was right. But I would also not agree that university should act based on what they've seen on social media alone. I don't agree. I don't agree. They should have investigated. And I just want to assume that based on the status of that institution, they would have made some investigations.
But at the same time, university have a role to play. The parents of that lady have a role to play. We are kids. We need to do our jobs. You know, I can't see one of my children writing that kind of stupid thing on themselves. You know, but we still need to do our job. So yeah, Wale, what's trending for you?
Yeah, thank you. What's trending for me has to do with Chief Sunday Igboho, his arrest, in Benin Republic, and all the issues surrounding that is, attempt to, to move to Germany with his wife, and all the issues around that one. There was a report around initially that he was traveling on, a Beninese, passport, and obviously, just as yesterday, so there was a counter information that wasn't the case, that he was actually traveling on a Nigerian passport, and his wife also was traveling on a German passport. And as far as I know, the matter has been adjourned till Monday. As far as I know, is in relation to extradition hearing. I think the Beninese court has asked the federal government to provide enough information to justify why Benin Republic should honor that request. So it's a very interesting one. I think that has been the most important thing trending during the week. And but the most important part of it as well is that a lot of contradiction in terms of what has been reported. Hello.
Whose sister? Somebody's feedback.
Yeah. So
can we all please?
Yeah, so that's what is trending for me, because
Okay.
I just want to before I just want to double check. Chief Mrs. Akinmade, can you hear us, please?
Somebody has WhatsApp, Facebook on. Somebody has something on. One of us.
Can you hear us, please, Mrs. Akinmade?
No, not that one. The other one.
Can you send a private message to her, please? I don't think you can hear us.
Yeah, okay.
All right.
Move it out from here.
Yeah. One of us has our devices on. The Facebook one.
Yeah, I believe it's Mrs. Akinmade.
All right. So what's trending? What's trending for me? Do I still get an opportunity to say what's trending?
Yes, please. It's your turn. It's your turn.
Yeah. So I'm surprised no one mentioned the money rain that is going on, or that went on in Oba just this.
Oh yes.
That's all. That's all over.
Igbo.
Yeah.
That was left for you, Elvis. It's the son of the soil that should discuss it.
So you've left that one for me, eh?
Yes, especially.
Oh yeah. So yeah, it was Obi Kubana's mother's burial, as we all know, and we had all manners of people from different parts of Nigeria and beyond grace that occasion. And of course, we saw what happened, how people, walked in with bags of money, and were doing their spraying, all over the place. Now, I understand Obi Kubana granted an interview after that and said, look, that's happened only because he had intended to celebrate his mom's 85th birthday. But unfortunately, no, was it the 80th or the 85th? I can't remember now which one. Yeah, unfortunately, she didn't live to see that day, and instead of the 85th birthday or the 80th birthday, his friends now took the occasion of her burial to honor himself and the mom in that way. So the internet or the social media has been agog with the news of the sort of money that was expended in that location. There were even jokes about if you're in Lagos or if you're somewhere, your girlfriend has told you she's gone on a weekend somewhere. She's in Oba. She's in Oba. Oba is a village where they're having the burial, by the way. Yeah, so that one really set the internet on fire, and but again, I understand he has been committed to building the Ayoka, and also offered to dole out $1 million to about 300 youths, which amounts about 300 million to people within his local area, just so they could use it and start doing something with their lives. Yeah, I thought that was worth mentioning. How could you miss that? Money rain in Nigeria.
I believe a while back there was a ban on spraying money in Nigeria. What happened to that ban?
I'm not sure that that ban has taken effect because, you know, money spraying never stopped, even with the ban. So I'm not sure what happened there, but I know people still spray money, as was evidenced on that occasion and other occasions we have seen previously. So I'm not sure what they have done with that.
All right, so that says a lot about the ban on Twitter. So Twitter will surely be back soon. Or is it back, Egmont? Is Twitter back in Nigeria?
Twitter is in transit.
I like that. I like that. Yeah, okay. All right, so Mrs. Akinmade, do you have your Facebook on?
No, I closed it already. Are you hearing me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay.
Do you have another gadget connected?
No, not for now. I've closed all apps, all other apps. I'm using just the phone now.
Okay. All right. So we talk about what's been trending. So any news in Nigeria currently that you'd like to share with us?
It's all the tales we're just hearing about insecurity, all that is happening. You know, it got me thinking of how have we come this low? What is happening to Nigeria? Then what can we do to salvage the situation? Are people really thinking about the common man? You know, it's perplexing. It's like it's not the country where we grew up. So my pain is, how do we get ourselves out of this situation? How do we go back to Nigeria we used to know, with peace, peace-loving people, everybody going about their daily routines? What can we do as Nigerians, those in Nigeria and those in diaspora? That has been the question raging my mind.
That is exactly why we do what we do. What's going on? All right, that's why we.
I think the echo is from you, Vicky. Double check.
There's nothing on here. Absolutely nothing else.
Okay.
All right, so I will pass the baton to you, Remi, while I leave and back.
Okay, thank you. You're welcome to the show, and tonight we're discussing women and development in Nigeria. And we're asking the question, are Nigerian women getting enough recognition for their contributions to national development? I can hear myself. Elvis, can you hear me clearly?
Yes, I can. I can hear you, Wale.
Is that any form of echo?
No.
There's a lot of echo here. There's a lot of echo. Can we, can we, apart from Wale, can we all mute our phone, please? Let's mute our phones. Apart from Wale, let's see how it goes. Wale, please keep speaking. Let's all mute.
Hello?
Hello?
Yes, so
yes, we can hear you.
So tonight we're discussing women and development, and we have in the studio Chief Mrs. Aderemilekun Akinmade as a guest panelist. Mrs. Akinmade joins us from Maryland, United States, to help us shed light on this important topic. As a way of introduction, Mrs. Akinmade is a community health development consultant, human and social justice advocate, and entrepreneur. Amongst other qualifications, she obtained masters in community health from University of Liverpool School of Tropical Medicine, United Kingdom. She is the founder and chief executive of Community Health Information Education Forum, Lagos, Nigeria. You're welcome to the program, Mrs. Akinmade.
Can you unmute, man? Can you unmute, man?
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So I'll go straight to the first question. You have a very impressive resume. Please tell our viewers about yourself and your motivation for setting up your NGO after retirement from public service.
Thank you so much, Wale.
Sorry, man. Sorry, man. Just 1 minute, man. Would you reduce your volume now? Please reduce the volume of the phone. Just reduce the volume of the phone.
Okay, thank you. I think mine was just a passion to help the needy, the disadvantaged, and especially the indigenous people, the rural dwellers. I worked for 22 years with the Etiosa local government in nursing, midwifery, when I started. When I left in year 2000, we were doing rural works, that is outreach clinics. Weekly we go to the coastal villages. Etiosa then is not as it is now in the 90s. We have about 58 rural communities, but now houses surround the villages. They were mainly coastal villages, starting from then Igboshere, Maroko, Jakonde, Ologologbara, all the way to Okumapo. And that's how we used to go weekly on outreaches to cater for the health needs of the rural dwellers. But when I was doing this work, services, I saw there is a huge gap that even the government were not looking into. For example, majority of the rural dwellers were uneducated. They are out of reach, that is no clinics there, no schools in majority of those villages. Their women have low level of education. Health facilities are not accessible to them. That was in the early 90s. So I felt a bridge has to be built, to marginalize, just to bring together these gaps. And I felt if I was still to be working with the government, there is little I could do because my bosses are there. It will be like oversabi, or she thinks she knows too much. So I decided to retire early. That was around age 46. And passionately, we did baseline studies. I chose a community, Bara community. We did a baseline studies to, just to find out what their health needs are. And later we found out that we have to focus on the women and the children, because when you train a woman, you train a nation. So training the women, health education, economic empowerment, then it will reflect on the family. Also, we set up a child health clinic, and we were treating minor ailments. They come to the clinic. Today, that Bara clinic, when we started, had no light. They have light now. There is a primary school in Mayegun, which is a cluster community, very next to Bara. Today, they have a secondary school. In the early 90s that I was talking about, most educated elites of Ethiopia had to go to Victoria Island or Lagos Island for further studies, probably after primary school, or they moved to the city to acquire education. But this I did for another 22 years, and we moved out of Bara. We expanded, we went to all the 14 LGAs of Lagos State, but I couldn't do it alone. But with the support of international and local NGOs, that is non-governmental organizations. And that's where I have the opportunity to work with Wale. Wale can describe how we went to Badagry, Iragbo, Iragon, all the rural communities, and Idoluwele. He in particular went to the riverine communities. So that's how Chief started, and we did what we could, setting up primary health clinics in almost 3 local government areas. But we did what we could, and we were doing it with passion. We were doing it not for political gains. We were doing it as if we were mandated to help the weak. And that's how I started Community Health Information Education Forum, Chief. Hello?
Yeah. Thank you very much. This is Akinmade. We go over to Elvis now. Elvis, gender inequality is a major issue. Is a major man often disadvantaged in social and political settings. How can this be remedied?
Wale, you may have to repeat that because
I didn't hear more than half of the question you asked.
You did?
Can
okay,
you,
I don't know
can you repeat, please?
I don't know what's really going on tonight, but I will quickly go over it again. I said gender inequality is a major issue in Nigeria, with women often disadvantaged in social, economic, and political settings. How can this be remedied?
Okay. I missed another part of it, but I know where you're going. Okay. So we shouldn't take it for granted that women play a significant role in societal development. They ensure stability, progress, and long-term development of nations. Now, there are some factors that work against women being in politics or in positions of authority. Some of them relate to the political structures we have, in Nigeria. And some of those factors could relate to things like high cost of being in politics. Sometimes even the expression of, the nomination forms or the expression of interest forms they need to purchase cost millions of naira, which some of these women cannot afford. Campaign costs are not also easy as well to finance. A lot of the times, I know women have limited access to education. Look, I'm highlighting all of these. These are problems. Perhaps we'll also look at a scenario where if some of these problems can be addressed, then we'll have more women in positions of authority or putting their hands up to participate in politics. We need to start looking at things in a different way. Some of our cultural and religious norms prevent women from also partaking, in politics. These are things that actually need to change. I mean, I've actually witnessed an instance where this married woman is intending to vie for a political position. Now, because she's married, she's moved to her husband's part of the country, and because she is not from that part, the powers that be or the people within that locality will not allow her to contest, in that to partake in that contest, only because, in quotes, you are not from here. She tries to go back to where she's from to try and vie for a position in that area, and they tell her, look, you're no longer from here, you're married, so she's just in the middle. She can't contest from where originally she comes from, and her husband's people won't also allow her the opportunity to vie for a position which she ideally was qualified for. And that brings me to the question that we need to start changing some of the concepts or some mindsets we have in Nigeria. I mean, we need to transcend from being a tribal people or state, things that relate to state of origin. We need to really take those to the back burners. I mean, in Australia here, in the UK, in the US, if you're an American, you are an American. If you're British, you're British. If you're an Australian, you don't say I'm from Queensland or I'm from Darwin or I'm from Melbourne, and that removes that element of those tribal things, those things that make it impossible for the women to actually get involved. So, yeah, and some structures portray our women as being subordinate to men. Perhaps if we start looking at things in a different light, allow the women more opportunities. I mean, at the end of the day, women are about half of the, correct me if I'm wrong, half of the population of Nigeria. So you have women in large numbers that they have what it takes to actually run a state, run a nation. But these factors that I've mentioned limits them from partaking in those areas that will afford them the opportunity to actually contribute their quota to nation building. The press don't even give the women as much coverage as they give the men during elections. So these are some of the factors that inhibit women from actually partaking in politics and assuming positions of authority. We need to start changing our mindsets. We need to start changing our ways of doing things. And if that is done, I'm sure it will go a long way in having more women ascend to positions of authority. I mean, the men have failed us in Nigeria. We have failed as men. So let's give the women a chance. This is my sincere opinion. We have in the last God knows how long, men have dominated politics in Nigeria. Where has that led us? So women need to be given more opportunity to partake in politics. That's my take.
Thanks so much, Elvis. You covered important points there around cultural opposite. and the need for us to change our mindsets. We really want Nigeria to move forward. So we're discussing women and development in Nigeria, and we're looking at Nigerian women getting up recognition for their contributions.
Well, sorry, we're still getting an echo from your end.
Yeah, let me try and stay.
Can we all mute? Can we all mute except Wiley? Please.
Hello?
Unmute only when you need to talk, please.
Yeah, okay. So can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you clearly now.
Okay. So my next question goes to, I won't be wasting time. My next question goes to Egmont Yemi. And specifically, the question is this: with exception of a few often marginalized deputy governors, Nigerian women have not been able to reach the Everest of political office at a level. Is it possible for women to build glass ceiling in Nigeria? Is still related to what Elvis, covered just a few minutes ago. But more specifically, we know that even where women have been given opportunities, they've been given as deputy governors, and they're often marginalized. So in your opinion, how can we really do better? One, to give them more positions, like Elvis just said now that even men have failed, and how can we as a society really embrace them and give them opportunity and also recognize their contributions to national development?
It's an irony that this actually is coming up today, that we're having the local government elections here. And I'll tell you that the build up to this, you can count the number of women that have been put forward to run for the chairmanship seats. You can count. Today that we are discussing this, the elections are going on. And very, very few number of women have been given chairmanship seats. You will see a number of them running as vice chairmen, a few running as councillors. And this boils down to the fact that there's a lot of hypocrisy on the part of the political parties that are out there, and of course, even the system itself. Now, the irony also is that these parties cannot function without the women. These parties cannot have any presence without those women. But it's been carefully carved in a way that they've relegated a lot of them to the role of cheerleaders. When they want to go out there to canvass for votes, when they want to go out there to talk about their programs, it's the women that they use to attract the attention of people. It's the women that will leave their shops, that will leave their children, that will leave their homes and go on campaign trails. And so you find out that it's almost like an entrenched thing. The men, when it comes to the real thing in terms of sharing opportunities, they edge the women out. Ironically, the women have the numbers, which unfortunately, how do I put this? Is it that they are not allowed to use the impact of those numbers, or they are to some degree, to some extent too, they also shy away at a point. But let's address the real thing. It boils down to the selfishness, the ego trip by men, the attempt to ensure that, okay, we are the ones calling the shots. To some extent, probably, they also do not trust the women to play their own kind of dirty games. They don't. But what do we need to do? Enlightenment is very key. Enlightenment is very key. It's something they talk about. You find out parties coming up and they will tell you they are giving a percentage or a percentage of the offices being contested for. They are giving the opportunity to women. But the reality on ground is that even that they've promised they don't keep, apart from the fact that it is basically an insult to womanhood. But even the little that they say they are offering, they do not keep such promises. And that's why we found ourselves in that situation where you have how many states, men running, people running for governorship, and they're virtually all men. Of course, some women will show up, but at the end of the day, they need to cross the primaries of the parties to emerge from being aspirants to emerge as candidates. Now, where are they? Who are the ones calling the shots within those parties? That is an area we need to look at. And we also need to enlighten our women to fight for their rights. It's not all about cheerleading. It's not all about singing for candidates. It's not all about praising candidates that have been presented. The women should come out and do this. Okay, for instance now, the elections are going on. The elites are all at home. They're all at home, watching TV, having good times with their families, while those in the grassroots are out there queuing and voting. I've had to go out today to try and mobilize people to please step out. Unfortunately, we are the same set of people that will now come out and criticize non-performance. But let's bring it back to women. Our women, not even probably, our women need to do more. Our women need to pull resources together, pull themselves together. It's not an individual thing. Listen, we used to have a very effective National Council for Women's Society, where when issues come up, you hear their voice and it is powerful. But unfortunately, it's muted now. Even leadership within that same society is almost politicized. That becomes an issue. So let's say it. We need to enlighten our women more. The children need to tell their mothers to show interest. Husbands need to encourage their wives. Because the way we are going, a lot is desired from women. A lot. We need their input. We need their input like no man's business. Men have done it for so long, and the results of their work is pasted on walls all over.
F9 parallel. Thanks so much, Akinmade, for that. And I could see Mrs. Akinremi nodding when you mentioned the Nigerian Council of Women's Society. Probably I will come back before I come back to Mrs. Akinmade. I'll go to Dr. Vicky. Elvis mentioned so, and this question to Dr. Vicky is around that. What's your take on different cultural practices inhibiting empowerment of girls, women across diverse ethnic groups in Nigeria?
In 2021, we're still talking about this. It's been an ongoing problem for women. By the end of the day, one thing that I've come to realize, for so many years in Saudi Arabia, where women are not allowed to drive, the only people that got up, stood up, and fought for their right to be able to drive were women. And they did that for so many years. And until, was it last year or year before, that the new rule or constitution was designed for that alone, that, okay, women can now drive. It wasn't pushed, it wasn't fought for by men towards the women. The thing here is, if we are not fighting for what we believe is right, if we are not lifting other women up, it's not going to happen, because men are actually enjoying this. Men are enjoying that power. Yes, I've heard them say it again and again, but most men will say to their wives, I don't want you to associate with that woman that speaks loud, that, she's always fighting for whatever right, because I don't want you to be, to change to be like her. There's that fear in them of their wives, their partners, getting to be in a place of power, which in turn will make them feel little within themselves. And it's an ongoing battle. It's an ongoing battle. It's a thing that I believe as women, it's something we need to come together and encourage and empower younger women to get up and be counted. If we don't do that, men they don't care. And yeah, if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't matter. So it is our jobs. It is our jobs to do it as women. I listened to Elvis, and I've read it somewhere also. It's the same thing, women being pushed here and there. It's something that needs to be done by all women coming together, having one voice about this. Enough is enough. When my mom was little, it was the same case. Now here I am, middle age, still the same case. Unless we do something, unless we make noise around it and say enough is enough. And those that are allowed to, those that are pushed to get there, to do the right thing by us and not be like, the one that stole billions of dollars. So that's my take.
Thank you very much for that. I'll quickly go to Chief Mrs. Remi Akinmade. I'm conscious of time. We'll try and keep it very brief. You retired as a chief nursing officer in Lagos State Public Service over 2 decades ago. What's your assessment of current state? Hello, ma.
Sorry. If you ask me personally, that will be my observation. But if we look at it from how it has been assessed ethically, then we know we still have a lot to do. According to Daniel H. Kress et al., there are 3 of them. They conducted this research, and they found out that Nigerian PHC system has been stagnant. The reason being that the issue of income and the issue of maybe the infrastructure, not some, accessibility is fair. They found out that we have enough PHCs across the length and breadth of Nigeria. But for the infrastructures, the drugs, the equipment, and what makes the primary health care facility runs very well, it's lacking. So it's like we are stagnant. And this, brings to mind the issue of, how do I say it? How do we approach health in Nigeria from research into action? Does research form the basis upon which we build, or is just the political votings or the budget as it's budgeted by the departments forwarded for budget approval and all that? And again, sometimes when we talk, we just talk from our own observation, which of course is part of research, but we have to be ethical about everything and be systematic. And again, we lack due process in Nigeria. We don't love process. No data from, if you go and search Google, except for the works that the institutions, the universities have done, I mean, their research works. In the UN body or all over, they hardly use Nigerian statistics. We just have to cultivate an idea for excellence. For how long we'll be doing, when I was young in primary school, they will say, wuru wuru to the answer. Just get to the answer. How can we be systemic? How can we have strategic plans for 10 years so that the technical committee are there, so that when the political leaders come in, they have to bite into those strategic plans? Not that one particular party will come, win, bring out their own agenda, cushion it with money. Another will come. So that, will fragment all whatever job the good ones, the good technical people, the good policy makers have done, because there is difference between the political leaders and the policy planners and makers. So in my own view, the people must be involved, community involvement, no matter how. Some clinics are standalone. Some clinics are built in the community and never patronized because they never know the felt needs, the health needs of the people. There was a time, we were at a workshop, the presenter was telling us about the incidents in one community in Republic of Benin. They wanted to give them a health facility, but they said our youth love football and we do not have a pitch and all that. They have to give them what the youth wants before building the health facility. That's how it goes. Nigeria cannot continue to run the government on behalf of us. Then we are not demanding enough from our policy makers and planners. At least I've worked in one of these, rural communities, LGAs, Ibejuleki to be precise. I went to the chairman after my observation and I said the women and men are less empowered. They don't have daily income and all that. And the chairman told me they are waiting money from the federal budget, that once the money comes, it will try and do something. That I can say, is one of my pride of the work I've done. So when the money came, he sent a message to me that I should come and see. They bought thousands of hand sewing machines, outboard engines for the men to go to sea for fishing, so many empowerment programs, but tools. But does this continue? Is it, how do we make it a continuous process? How do we make it part of the system that nobody needs to ask? where we are now, as the COVID started, you know, everybody has received money almost 3 times to cushion the effect of COVID here to help families. Are we planning to relieve Nigerians? Well, some structures are working, maybe transport and all that, but not enough. But God will help us. That's all I can say. We still have much and very much to do in the area of primary health clinics. They are there. They need staff training. They need to remunerate the workers and make the job appealing so that there would not be any other, further brain drain as it's currently happening. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much,
Mrs. Akinmade.
Mrs.
I'll go over
to
Elvis. Elvis, specifically, we mentioned around the need for men to actually support women, that women alone cannot do this. We are more in a patriarchal kind of system. How, in the practical terms, beyond just the rhetoric, how can men be part of this? How can men support, in practical terms, support women to be able to have a say, to be able to contribute more meaningfully, in our society?
Yeah, Wale, men can do so by genuinely providing the much needed support that the women need to succeed, in different areas. As I stated prior, to get to win elections is not a mean is not a mean feat. So a lot of finance is required in that area, and men have the money. Perhaps if they could, expend some of that money on supporting the women, that will go a long way. And as Vicky mentioned prior, she stated, some men are in the habit of dissuading their wives from, having rapport or relationships with women who are outspoken. Now, in that area, men need to, brace up with the realities of our times now. That you can't keep the women in the back burners forever. I mean, if your wife has a friend who is outspoken and who has something to offer, who has something up there, there's no point, dissuading your wife or your sister or whoever it is from having those relationships that will transcend to people being able to speak up, or changing the societal norms, or changing things around them. We should be able to, in some cultures, don't allow women to be educated. So men need to ensure, support our ladies to, attain educational heights to the best of their ability. Wherever they can get to educationally, we should be able to support them to acquire, the much needed education, because you can't do all of this without at least the minimal level of education. So these are some of the areas that men need to look at, and find ways of supporting the women genuinely, and not seeing women as subordinates or lording it over them, or thinking yes, I mean, we have seen women do well in different nations. I know Gandhi. I think India used to have a woman prime minister back in the days, correct? Gandhi was
That's
was
correct.
it Gandhi or someone? Yeah, we have seen the one in Germany. In the US today, we can see Kamala Harris, and so many other places where, I mean,
In
the
New
Queen of
Zealand.
England for so many years. Sorry?
New Zealand, Jacinta.
Yeah.
New Zealand.
Yeah, New Zealand, yeah. Backyard, yeah, New Zealand is also a woman, and she's doing wonderfully well. So yeah, I think it's a wrong notion, a wrong assertion to think, oh yes, because we are men and we know it better. No, a lot of women can do it better than we do. A lot of women are, endowed, they're up there. They have a lot to offer, but only have limited opportunities to bring what they can offer to the table. So yeah, we need to retrace our steps, and those areas that we think women can be supported to ascend to where they need to be, men need to be supporting them in every way they can to make sure they rise.
Thanks so much, Elvis.
If you permit me to chip in something.
Yeah, Remi, please go ahead, please.
There are two areas that I just want to also point out. And I do not want to spare religion in this. The role that religion is playing is also key. For as long as our religious leaders do not use their platform to tell their captive audience that women should be given the chance in the area of leadership, for that long we will still have this. Unfortunately, if we come together next year, we may still be discussing this thing, just as Vicky said earlier. Our religious leaders have a very strong platform to address their captive audience, and I'm using that word with a lot of responsibility in me, to give our women that chance. Listen, something as simple as what Shina Peters did years ago sent a right message to the people. I wish we had followed it up. That was just a piece of art that he unleashed on this nation, and the consciousness of people was brought to it. Never mind the fact that we danced it off. But it was a platform that we could have used. But presently, our religious leaders have a role to play in this.
Egbon, can you take us back
in church and
can you tell us a bit more about what Shina Peters did for people as young as I am?
Nawao. Yes, that song he did, Nawao, Nawa for African men, give our women chance to rule. It was a message loaded in there. It was part of his music that was the rave, and that was on for a couple of years. Give our women chance to rule. Go to India, now women they rule. Go to women they rule. In Great Britain, India, blah 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 blah. Now women they rule. Now wow, that was a right message that even our women body should really have capitalized on. So what I'm saying in essence is that our religious leaders need to be honest, need to give this a strong consideration. That is one. The other one is the fact that until we reduce the financial demands of campaigning for offices here, it may be happening in some other climes. We know how elections are funded in some other climes. But here, when you need to break the bank, when you need to sell your houses, when you need to stop all other dreams, to pump everything into campaigning for office, it becomes a challenge. It becomes a challenge. Not many women, just Elvis said it, but what I'm driving home is that not many women can afford this high level of expenditure on campaigning for offices. And not many men are kind enough to back the aspirations of these women. So if we do not legally, there was a time they placed the ceiling on how much to be spent and other, but as usual, it's lip service. So if we're serious about giving women the right opportunity, we need to reduce the financial demands of running for offices. Listen, there are situations here when once you emerge as a candidate, and I stand to be challenged there, some banks will offer you millions in terms of millions of naira, in terms of loan, for you to run for office. Where do they expect you to get that money? What is your salary? What are your allowances? But once they do it, they target candidates, and they offer them loans without collateral. They don't need collateral for it. They offer such loans. So when you now get in there, the first thing is not to empower women, is to empower your pocket. That happens. It's a sad part of our story. So if we do not reorientate ourselves, if we do not decide now what exactly we want, the Nigeria we want, it will remain a challenge. Thanks.
Okay, thanks so much, Egbon. And just, we continue from there because the next question is actually for you. And specifically, thanks for reminding us about that, Sashina Peter song. And I'm sure Davido did something similar maybe a year ago, where he features some great women, or women of substance, in one of his recent songs. During Babangida era, we had better life for rural women. People can say a lot of things about how political it was and everything, but at least people felt the direct impact of that program. And I know in recent years, they've paid a bit of lip services around, women empowerment at local government and state level. Can we say, that we genuinely, in order to bridge that gap, the social, economic, and political gap between men and women in Nigeria, do we have enough programs that are specifically designed, both locally and internationally, to really address, that particular topic, that particular gap, and being able to bridge that gap?
On paper, the answer is yes. On paper, we probably have more than enough, maybe even much more than any other country in the globe, because almost every wife of a governor has a program targeted at that. Almost all. It's a scramble. Each and every one of them has something similar to that. And in all honesty, a number of them do it genuinely. They found themselves in that position and they do it. But most times it is not part of a government policy. Most times it is not something that is entrenched in what we actually aim to do. And that is where the problem is. Because hardly one do you find civil servants, the civil service involved, really. What I'm saying in essence is that it really does not go through a system. It is helpful most times in mobilizing support of women for administrations. But I still say quite a lot of these wives of governors have real, genuine intentions about this. It's just that the impact most times is also limited. Maybe even the funding for such is also limited. But we have quite a lot of programs. We have quite a lot of programs for women. And it started quite some time ago. And it's still on as we speak. But how are women bodies also rally around such projects to ensure it gets to the right places, to ensure its sustainability becomes an issue? When a wife of a governor probably does it, the first year, the second year, by the third year, all attention goes to campaigning for a second term. All attention goes to campaigning for a second term. And by the time they succeed in getting the second term, the zeal is really probably not there enough for sustenance of such. But you still have some of them that really go all out, that have, let me use fear of God, that have a degree of honesty to really push this. Quite a number of them. I must give that to them, sincerely. We have a lot of programs for that.
Thank you so much, Egbon. Time is fast spent. We try our best to keep it short and simple. I go next to Key, and specifically my question is that we've had a few cases of women in politics and business who were unceremoniously removed from office in recent years. Can we blame misogyny for their fall?
That to me.
Yeah, okay. You want me to go over that again? Okay, sorry. Yeah, that's for you.
No, I hear you. I hear you. I wasn't sure whether that was for me. Can we blame misogyny for that? I would say definitely yes, especially if those women are doing well. I can remember someone like Kemi Ade, is it Adeoshu, the finance, yes. They tend to find whatever little to just get rid of such women. And it goes back to what I was saying before. If there's anything that will make men look bad, if a woman is doing something that will make in their own mind, I mean, not all of them, but most of them, there's that thing that we need to get rid of this. And I was watching something a few days ago, and it's on SBS, and this is about Australian politics. So we're talking about this now. It's not just in Nigeria, it's just that it's so bad in Nigeria, in Africa, but it is happening. I mean, I was watching this SBS program that some women in politics in Australia were being interviewed. Julia Gillard was one of them, the vice premier a while back during Tony Abbott's era. I can't remember her name. She was there, and so many other politician women. And they were being interviewed, and they were all talking about, even in the Senate, when they talk about certain things, it's their turn to say something, and they make a suggestion. Men just kind of, it was as if they haven't said anything. But the next man sitting to them should say the same thing. Oh, all right. Yes, that is a good point. You know what I mean? So even here, it is happening. And we can, if we can go back in, so many years ago with when Julia Gillard was there, and the issues between her and Tony Abbott. So what am I driving at? I'm driving at the point that it's happening almost everywhere. But it's really bad back home. At least here we still have a lot of women in the Senate. How many women can we count in the Senate in Nigeria? I mean, so it's just a way, every time there's a woman that is making a little bit of difference, they're trying to find ways to bring such women down and choke her out. Why? It's the same thing, misogyny. That's my own.
Okay, thank you very much. And with that example of former Minister of Finance, Kemi Adeosun, and recently we had, the first bank, well celebrated banker. The way she left a couple of months ago was very unceremonious, considering what she put into that bank and her contribution to banking and the social fabric of Nigeria, in general. I moved to Mrs. Akinmade now. So, and I want to, because of time, I want to combine two questions, and I want you to, just try to respond to the two questions as much as possible. One is around the gender-based violence. So that is on the rise in Nigeria now. Can you tell us, as part for many years, can you tell us what are the contributing factors to this increase in gender-based violence in Nigeria? Do you have ideas about interventions? And the concluding part of that question is around this same topic. Are women in Nigeria getting enough recognition for their contributions to national development?
Thank you, Wale. The issue of gender-based violence has been with us for long. And as my brother rightly said, Shodimu, sorry if I didn't get the name right, it's an issue of culture. Well, gender-based violence is just any act of violence, be it physical, mental, psychological, against the other sex. But as we are talking now, women are mostly affected, and that's why we are saying it in the context of the program. Women have always been at the receiving end, and I think the issue is based on control and access. Men are always in control, and women have poor access to resources, and the culture again permeates, gender-based violence, like, women are supposed to be at the background, and some will claim religion, as my brother rightly said, the woman should not be heard, should be quiet, should tie the head, should, be at home, caring for the children. But we have now seen that even women who stays at home, who does not go to work, are kind of quantified because they are using their resources, their energy, what the money they could have gotten outside to raise, good kids. But back to your question, why is gender-based violence on the rise? Again, currently, the issue of COVID-19 lockdown, the issue of poverty, not that it doesn't happen in all stratas of the society. A celebrated case, well, it's not being, it's not concluded yet, is the media boss and the young Chidinma. It's so sad that it came to that end, but I think it's still a case of exploitation. The girl snapped, a close to 50-year-old man, a 21-year-old girl who can be your daughter, on drugs and all that. That goes to show what is happening in the society, that men are controlling the money, and they are controlling even the women, what they do with women. We've had instances of sex for grade in the university and all that. But what I will say as regards gender-based violence is we begin to open up. We begin to talk. If you're affected, sometimes when you talk, people say, she talks too much. She talks about her home. but we should be each other's keepers. And also we have to train stakeholders, the people that are affected, the family members, the community leaders, the religious leaders, the policy makers and planners. Gender-based violence has to be integrated into the education curriculum, whereby they learn it from, primary school, primary 5 and 6. Let's spare the junior ones to 4, 5, 6, up to the university level. I can remember when we're, campaigning for the prevention of HIV and AIDS. Some were working in the university. My organization was working among the youths out of school, and that's how we pair. Some were working with infected women and all that. The same thing with gender-based violence. The more we speak about it, the more it reduces. And bills are enacted, but are they followed up? When a case is reported at the police station, the policeman will be saying, it's your fault, you wore mini dress. We need to reorientate or orientate all stakeholders involved. And that for that. Are women getting enough accolades? I will say, yes, a bit and a bit of no. Just to go back to all the panelists have been saying, Yoruba will say your load is not well aligned, and the person will say you are looking at the load, you are not looking at the under, you are not looking at my legs. If my legs are straight, the load will balance well. In as much as I don't like revisiting the past pre-colonial, but still I have to go there because that's how we started in Nigeria. Nigerian system, cultural system was good. It was good. They had roles for women, just to answer my brother from Australia. They have law, names that, dignifies Olori, the woman leader, for now I've forgotten the name they call them, the premier of the women. And there is no sitting in the communal sitting that does not involve women. At least when I was growing up in Ibadan, my mother is from the indigenous Ibadan side, Idiarere. I know we have what we call a Igbejo, like a mini court inside the clan. That particular building, you hear cases, they have meetings, they talk well about their farms, about everything. And not only men were there. I've seen women too participate in such family meetings. That gets me to now think of revisiting a type of democracy. Do we totally rely on foreign democracy? Or do we go back to drawing board to see what in our culture can be integrated into the democracy so that we can do it well? But all I can say is that even pre-colonial eras, women have been immortalized. The likes of Tinubu, Madam Tinubu in Lagos, Efunshetan Aniwura in Ibadan, in the north, in the east, Emoto in Benin. Even while I was doing this, I attended a program some years back. I heard that Madam Fodio's daughter had an educational institution. It might be Islamic school, where she gathered students and trained them. But what is happening today? But those women are immortalized. Even before the colonial masters, women have been traders. We've had women obas. The first king in Ondo was a woman. The society had a role for women. But if it's now going hurry, is because of the do and die of the politicians. It has become a muddy waters that the women, take a look again. Do I jump into it? who will encourage me. And I want to let you know that even in developed societies, sometimes government may fund the parties, secretariat and all that, but they do a lot of fundraising. When you said the issue of women, and I want to let you know that there is a group in Nigeria called the League of Women Voters in Nigeria. I just joined them about 2 years ago. I mean, about a year ago, somebody introduced me to the group. They are doing what they can, but it seems as if some of these women groups, after some time, they lose orientation. Like my brother, Chief Show, I'm so sorry about that name, said, like, the women groups, the Society for Women and all that, that they lost focus and all that. Sometimes when they follow politicians and they drop money for them, they scramble for the money, forgetting why they are there. That's another issue. But to say women have not been recognized, some have been recognized. And to help us out, I listed so many areas of where women have done well. The government award may be very, very limited because 52% of the population of Nigeria are women. And the survivor of the fittest, it's those, sometimes those who have money are hard. And some of these honor now are based on how much money do you have, or how much money can you bring to the coffers of those who are giving you the awards. But we have so many women that are doing well in their fields. We have women in politics and governance. We have women in as policymakers, women in education, women in health development. So to say, there are so many fields, not only politics. We have women in natural resources. When I say natural resources, those that are doing well in technical areas of oil discovery, of diamond discovery, of gold discovery, women are there. Women and culture. We have so many women that are portraying the culture of Nigeria. In diaspora in Nigeria, they're there. Women in theater arts. Chimamanda is there. And lots of our children are, in diaspora doing wonderfully well. Women in music, women and music. Women in finance and banking, thanks be to God. 5 of them are now leading. So we are doing well in some segments, in some segmented areas. And women industrialists. How do we forget? Can we forget Madam Vicky O Show and the likes? I knew a woman who used to produce cornflakes when my children were young. I think the industry ran down. Then women in non-profit sector, and even homemakers as women who have raised lofty children. So we have to look into this segment. When we research, I'm back to my research. When we are back into research, we want to know how women feels. Why are women not participating as taught? Or, they will let you know. Post 30 questions or 20 questions and throw it into the internet, and we gather it. That's what they do in America, to know the pulse of the people and to act on what people want. So we cannot just say women don't like politics. What is the reason? Why are you not participating? Then we can now base our action on the analysis of the research carried out. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Chief Mrs. Akinmade. Thank you very much. Just, we'll be moving to what we call final words, which we normally do. But I will make my final words. My final word I want to thank you, Chief Mrs. Remi Akinmade. She was my boss to work with our NGO, Africa Extension worker. Then I became a program officer. And when Madame had to, we call her Madame. That's how we all our Madame. When Madame had to go to UK for one of our studies, she's always studying one thing or the other. And then I had the honor of becoming the youngest program manager because I had to step into her shoes. So that was an honor she gave me over 20 years ago. I'm very, very, very grateful for that. And definitely I can't write my life story without mentioning you and the impact, you impacted on me and other people. And also, Madame, our oldest daughter, Lola Akinmade Akestom, if I remember, she's in Sweden. She's, a trailblazer. She works with the National Geographic. She's an award-winning photographer, award-winning international photographer. So, so Madame has also raised beautiful daughters. So thank you for the honor and thanks for coming to the show. So that's my final words. I'll go to Elvis. I went back to Egbon, and then we pass the baton to Dr. Vicky. Over to you, Elvis.
All right, thanks, Wale, and thank you, Mrs. Remi, for coming on the show and for all your wonderful comments.
So, thank you.
At the start of the program, I was feeling terrible. I was feeling angry that the men have not treated the women fairly. But you have changed my mindset again by making all the analysis and mentioning all those names. It just tells me we're not horrible after all. At the end of the day, yeah. So, look, I still believe, undermining all of that, there's still room for women to be able to do more, to showcase their talents, their ideas, if given more opportunity. I know there are women in different areas of endeavor that are doing excellently well, we have two of them now on this show. Vicky is one of them. You are also one of them. But the women's roles needs to be expanded into other areas of the society. I mean, we're talking about the numbers now. Yes, a lot of women are doing well, but yet there's still room. If you say 52% of the population are women in Nigeria, but when you now juxtapose that with the number of women who are actually in these positions that you're mentioning or that we're discussing tonight, you see still also insignificant compared to those numbers. So I'm advocating, we're looking at a scenario where we can have more women, because if women, generally, women are taken as homemakers, and they do, those who are in that situation, do a very successful job of it. These are skills that are transferable. So given more opportunities, given better opportunities, I know women will do excellently well. So I'm advocating that the women should be given more opportunities to do what they know how to do best. Those are my final words.
Yemi. You're fine.
Just a quick one. I would admonish men to please kindly let's support our women, while at the same time one is talking to the women to please team up, speak out, and different bodies and associations of women should be up and doing. I remember that there is something, Federation of International Women Lawyers or something like that. These are bodies that can do a lot in terms of advocacy. And of course, finally, those words from Shino Peters are quite key. Let's give our women the chance to rule. They can make a lot of positive impact, And by the way, one is saying a big thank you to Mrs. Akinmade for the opportunities given to Wale years and years ago. Nobody knew a day like this would still come. We say thank you all the same. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Egbon. Over to you, Dr. Vicky.
Yes. Thank you. It's been another great show. I want to say a big thank you to you, Mrs. Remi Akinmade. Thank you for coming to our show. Thank you for bringing your brilliance onto the show. We appreciate you. We really, really do. And to all my panelists, as usual, I do well, thank you very much. And to all our viewers all over the world, we appreciate you. Whether you're watching right now or you are watching a replay, we thank you so much for joining us. If you have any comments, just bring it on. We will be able to respond. If you have any question, we will be able to answer. And my last word on this is that Elvis asked for women to be permitted to rule. That's a good ask, but I'll say women are to stand up and say we're not asking for permission. We want to be part of this. We want to be part of decision makers, because you're asking people that don't even want to have you there. They just want you in the other room. They want you in the kitchen. Go and cook for us while we talk about things to do with you and your children. Come on. They're not gonna, they want you in the kitchen perpetually. So we've got to be the ones standing up and say we want to be part of the decision makers. If we have women that are doing great in the banking sector, that are doing great as lawyers, we can do this. We have people like Mrs. Akinmade here. I mean, so many other women. We can do this. We don't really need to keep asking for permission. You ask for permission, it won't be given, because they want you somewhere else, that's where they believe you belong. So my plea is to all women out there around the world: rise up and be counted. Rise up and know where you belong. You can cook and still be part of those decision makers. You can be in the other room and still come out and make the decision that is right for the nation. So that is where I stand. We should stop asking for permission. We should stand up and say, it is our time. So until next Saturday, when we come back and talk about another great topic, you all have a lovely, lovely Sunday. And see you next Saturday, same time.
Sorry. One more thank you, if you don't mind.
Yes.
One more thank you.
Yes.
And that is for the support and love shown to Vicky. My thank you goes to Dr. Man.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I mean, that's one of the things that I talk about. Yes, he doesn't hold me back, and is an example to so many other men out there that allows the women to be free and fly, fly, and don't just stand there and ask for permission to fly. So yeah, but Egbon, thank you for acknowledging my Dr. Man. I appreciate that. So yeah, we'll see you all next Saturday. You take care. Have a lovely Sunday. God bless you all. Bye-bye.
The Nigeria we want. Great Nigeria. Of Africa. The Nigeria we want. Great Nigeria. The Nigeria we want. With Vicky O Show. Yeah, me show the moon. Wale your light on. I've been see what Nigeria on Vicky O Show every Saturday. The Nigeria we want, great Nigeria, giant of Africa. The Nigeria we want, great Nigeria.